Good evening. It is my pleasure to extend a hearty welcome to the members of Grubb and Ellis, Harrison and Bates to the campus of the University of Richmond as you celebrate your 100 years of service to this community.
A Moment in Time with Dan Roberts.
You trace your history back to 1910 when the firms of Harrison Realty and John W. Bates Real Estate merged and began a long tradition of helping clients manage their property needs. What started as a two-man firm remains locally owned and operated and has grown into today's team of more than 50 professionals. Your firm has survived the Great Depression, participated in the building boom after World War II, and helped fuel the growth Richmond has experienced in the past few decades. I'm a historian, and therefore let me take you on a brief journey back to 1910. It was the age of American innocence, before participation in World War I would transform America into a global giant and introduce profound changes in business, religion, family life, and politics. The President of the United States was William Howard Taft, the largest man ever to occupy the White House. He was an effective administrator, but a poor politician, and was caught in a battle between progressives and conservatives. As a result, he served only a single term. 25 million immigrants had entered the United States since 1870, and this immigration plus natural growth had caused the U.S. population to more than double during that period. About 100 million people constituted our population. Our nation was still more rural than urban, but it was already a world leader in industry, benefiting from a great abundance of natural resources and an economy organized by giant corporations. While women were still unable to vote, they were not quiet about it, and soon, by constitutional amendment, women would be allowed to participate in our democracy. The city of Richmond was still the first city in the South. Atlanta, Houston, Miami, and Charlotte were mere villages compared to the great city on the James, still benefiting from its place as the capital of the Confederacy and its historic place in America's first English colony. In 1910, the population of Richmond was about 127,000, and new streetcar suburbs such as Ginter Park were transforming the city. Trolley cars were the city's principal means of transportation. In 1888, the country's first successful trolley system opened in Richmond. Designed by electric power pioneer Frank J. Sprague, the system soon replaced horse-drawn cars. The cost was 5 cents a ride, which was half the price of the horse-drawn variety. All across America, entertainment was homemade. Though they existed, most people did not have a phonograph. But many people had pianos and great piles of sheet music, which reflected the events of the world. In my merry Oldsmobile, come Josephine in my flying machine, and meet me in St. Louis, Louis, announced the changes brought about by automobiles and airplanes. Songs like Bill Bailey, Won't You Please Come Home, and The Dark Town Strutter's Ball echoed the racial prejudices of that period. There were 34 theaters in the city in 1910. Richmond was a leading theater and musical center. A brief trip down Broad Street today reveals the city's theatrical history, as there are still a few of those theaters in existence in one form or another. There were also Nickelodeon movie theaters, most often in the back of stores, with folding chairs and the movies projected on a white sheet. The cost was 5 cents. In 1910, tobacco was the major industry in Richmond with over 10,000 employees. William Hodges Mann, a Democrat from Nottoway County, was the last Confederate soldier to serve as governor of Virginia. As a state senator, he authored the Mann Act, which closed about 800 saloons in county districts where there was no police protection. Prohibition was not yet law, but there were temperance societies, and Governor Mann and his wife Etta embraced the idea of prohibition. The financial district was on Main Street, while the fashionable shopping district was on the south side of Broad Street. Grace and Franklin were residential. And by 1910, Miller and Rhodes covered half a city block. Many downtown workers walked home for lunch, and the noon meal was the main meal of the day for many families. Jackson Ward became the largest and most successful African-American business district in the South by the early 20th century. The neighborhood was home to many distinguished African-Americans, such as the founder of the St. Luke Penny Savings Bank, Maggie Lena Walker, and Bill Bojangles Robinson, the famous actor and dancer. In 1910, as well as in 2010, Richmond and the United States face important challenges. The presence of a vibrant business community, tempered with the important religious and moral commitment to social improvement and justice, will ensure that the next 100 years will be as exciting, invigorating, and robust as the past. At the University of Richmond, I'm Dan Roberts.